Hey guys, I'm Charlotte Moore.
And I'm Christina Denny. Welcome to BMORE Lifestyle. We have an exciting show lined up today. We're talking body language. You may be sending some messages without even knowing it.
Yes, and speaking of that, some women can be pretty intimidating. Now, 8 single guys are giving us their input on how to be more approachable.
It's very interesting.
Very interesting.
So let's get started. Did you know body language equals up to 70% of how we communicate?
That's crazy. To help us figure out what we're saying, we're joined now by Rebecca Scott and her husband, Keith Scott, from TallSmall Productions. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
70%, that's crazy.
But you're only both saying good things.
Oh,
right now.
good. That we're confident
Great,
in fierce.
Yes, absolutely.
People can recognize your body language as soon as they see you and make a judgment in the first 3 seconds.
Wow, that fast?
That fast.
Wow.
We
Like
have a
immediate.
thing absolutely called thin slicing.
Right. And it's judging during that thin window of time. And during that time, we pick out about 12 things about people. It can happen when they're feet away. So when you're going for that job interview, you could be 200 feet away and you never know who's watching.
Wow. So let's talk about things that we all do that we might not notice that we're doing, starting with crossed arms. I know I do that
That
all
is
the
a
time
big
when I'm
one.
just hanging out.
Women especially cross their arms. We're often cold.
Yeah.
But what it says is we're defensive. And in this case, perception equals reality.
Right.
How about cross legs? Because I do that a lot.
Well,
You guys already know
typically
that.
people that cross their arms will cross their legs.
Okay,
There's
so is
many
it better
times,
like this? Is it
especially
like
when they're
this?
standing.
How about this?
But
Is
we
this
also
better?
find that women do that more than men because they're taught to do that at an early age.
Yeah,
Think back
sure.
to 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Boys are sitting in a chair kind of spread out. Girls
We're
are very
told
small.
to be ladylike.
Yes.
And being small. Yes.
That makes a difference on the perception
Yeah.
of who you are and how much space you take up in the world.
So interesting. What about hands in pockets?
That also looks like you're hiding something. We even heard of someone who zipped up his pockets, sewed them closed so
Wow.
he wouldn't go and do that.
I guess do what you have to do.
Do what you have to do.
And the whole reason we shake hands is from historical reasons, is the fact is that you don't have a weapon in your hand. If you put your hands in your pocket, it has the same psychological, what are you hiding? And you don't want to be hiding anything in a conversation.
You learn something new every day. Now, speaking of body language also conveys confidence as
Yes.
well, right? Let's talk about that a
Absolutely.
little bit more.
Mirroring. When
Yeah.
we like someone, we tend to mirror them. I'm sitting like you right now. And both of you, we're all sitting the same way.
I noticed
we
I do
tend to
that.
do this without even thinking about it. It's a
Yeah.
way of saying this is a friendly encounter, I like you. But on the flip side, if you go against the mirroring,
It's very simple though. If you're watching someone in a mall or in a public place and you see someone, you can tell right away a confident person or
Very
a person
true.
who's weak without talking to them.
Wow.
What about leaning into somebody, especially if you're having a conversation?
that shows you're interested. You can always tell when you walk into a networking event and you see someone leaning back toward the
Yeah.
door, they are ready to go. And people do that with their feet too.
Leaning in also shows that you're mirroring the person. So if you're at a job interview and you're mirroring and they're leaning forward and you're leaning forward, what they're thinking is, wow, that person seems to be like me. And we all like ourselves the most, right?
That's so funny. And slouch shoulders, that's an
Not
instant
good.
giveaway.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Instant giveaway.
Keep good
Yeah.
posture.
Posture.
So let's talk about, what is doormat language? That's something that you
Yeah.
guys know a lot about.
That's weak language. When we go to weak words, when we're uncomfortable, what it does is it says, step on me. It's okay if you step on me, I won't get back up. There are a lot of doormat words. We have about 50 of them, but we've brought along our top 5.
Okay, what are
Yes,
these top
yeah.
5 words?
First one is just.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Could you just,
Right.
I just have a question.
yes.
And when you say I just, it discounts that your question's important.
Yeah.
You just sort of question
That's true.
or I hope I'm not annoying you.
It's couched
see.
language. It's almost apologetic. It's bordering on saying, my thought doesn't mean as much as yours.
Right, another one is I was thinking.
Oh, we hate that
Oh
one.
my goodness.
Especially when you pair it with just. I was just thinking, maybe we could go here for dinner. I was just thinking, could I maybe ask you a favor? It's
Right.
weak.
And when we say just thinking, why do we need to tell people we're thinking? It gargles up the message.
When are we not?
Unless you're brain dead, you're thinking. So you don't need to tell that to people.
Real talk, yeah.
Exactly. Be real, but it's getting rid of the filler, the junk that we don't want part of our language. We want to get to the message and action.
Gotcha. What else?
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, but women especially apologize
true.
for just about anything. In fact, a group of female executives in California created a Google plugin where it redlines anytime you say I'm sorry or any relative of an apology.
That's so funny. That's a good idea, though, because I mean, you shouldn't apologize for having an opinion.
And we do it all the time, like just even in a line, you say, I'm sorry, when you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
It becomes an excuse
Right.
and no one hears it anymore.
Save it for the real apology.
So why do you think we use that word so much? Sorry.
Or any of these.
Yeah, or any of these words. Is this something that we are taught as, young children? Is it social norms? What is it?
A lot of women will tell us that they don't want to be thought of as aggressive, and then they think they're softening their language, but they're really weakening it. So people will stick in words like, I'm sorry, I just, try to soften out maybe something that's a little hard for someone else to swallow.
And many times we take upon the concept of being weaker as being good. But being strong and assertive is truly what our human nature is about. But society has taught us that weakness and humbleness is always the way to go. But we've taken that to an extreme.
And it creates nothing but confusion. When you have sentences, and I'm sure you've heard people like this who have all those filler words in there, you don't even know what they've just asked you.
Right. And that's
Thank you so
fantastic
much.
advice. So now we
Thank
can be
you.
more aware of our body language and the words that we're using.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.